So how do we learn about all of the symbols on all of our tarot cards in our deck? Now, if you want to read tarot cards, you don't have to know all of the symbols on every single card in order to be able to do this. But what knowing all of these extra symbols and images and pictures will do for you is give you extra kind of inside information about the card, right? So it just gives you more information to draw upon. And it also helps you get to know your cards better, which is really nice. Now, there's a lot of different decks to choose from, and you can pick whatever one feels comfortable to you. But for beginners, I usually do try to recommend something that has more images on it. You can start with something like a Rider-Waite deck, or you can start with anything else that has more detail on the cards, because when you're new, it will really help give you more information as you're interpreting things. It will help you remember things a little bit better, and it gives you more to draw on when you're trying to pull information off of the cards. So most people would start probably with using their tarot book, the book that comes along with your cards, in order to learn more about these symbols and images that you see. And it'll probably give you a story. It'll call out different images in the cards and give you some information about that. Now, that's one way to go. If you want to really expand your horizons and get a more comprehensive view of what all of these symbols mean, there's a lot of different areas that you can study and research and learn from that will help you in this area. So that's what I'm going to really talk with you about in this video. So the first thing I want to say that's super simple that you can look into is numerology, because every card has a number attached to it, and every number has a certain energy that it represents. So this would be a really simple way to start getting some more information off of the cards, because a number on the card is also a symbol, and it's also information that you can draw from. So that's a quick place to start. So if you want to look into some other more kind of deeper, more intricate areas, one of the areas you can look into first might be astrology. And this is also because it's fun too, because everyone really wants to know about their sign and about the signs of their friends. And it's a little bit easier to relate to than like really textbooky stuff. Astrology is a very vast area of study. So it's just more than just learning the astrological signs and the energy that comes behind them. There's planets involved and transits and all these other things. And you can go as far down that rabbit hole as you want to, or stay closer to the surface. It just depends. But the reason that astrology is important is because of the planets and the symbols that you'll see in there. There are a lot of astrological symbols in the deck. You will see animals that relate to astrological signs. So one of the instances where I would use astrology in a reading is, if I see a ram in the card and my eye just keeps getting drawn to that, and I feel like it's a characteristic of the person that we're trying to get information about, I might say that they're an Aries, or I might say that they have characteristics of an Aries, right? So that's how you can use that information in order to help with the symbols on your cards, right? So another area that you can delve into is sort of I guess it would be kind of like the witchy sort of area of things, right? Because what people study in that area a lot of times are kind of moon signs and phases, and there's a lot of moon symbolism in there. You can see different symbols that they'll use in there too. The pentacles or pentagrams, right? That means something. So if you understand what the meaning of that is, maybe that might help give you some more information should a card like that come up for you in a reading. Another thing that's in there too, if you look at the High Priestess, the crown that she wears on her head is the crown of the Triple Goddess. But if you don't know what that is, how on earth are you supposed to get information out of that, right? So these are other areas where there's different places where you can pick up information where symbolism is linked to the cards. Another area too here is there's each card represents a different element, right? And the elements are part of this area of study too, right? Earth, air, fire, water. So knowing about those and being able to overlay that on top of the cards and the images that you see is another really great way to get extra information about the cards that the regular guidebook is probably not going to give you, right? So that's another area where there's actually a good amount of information in there that will help you if you are trying to learn how to read the cards. So if you really are interested in the images, there's so many different places that you can go that are outside of the book that will really show you what's happening with the tarot. It's very kind of comprehensive. It's not really what you think it is. You think it's just a card, but it ties into so many other pieces. Another place you might want to look to is if you are into studying or learning about angels. There's some angel energy and some vibes in those cards. There's literal angels on those cards. And if you know who the angel is and what they represent, what their job is, what they do, that will also give you some other information that's on the cards. So, I think there's all these other areas that I think are interesting, areas of study that you can use in order to help you with the symbolism. You don't just have to look at the book. The last thing I would probably say on symbolism, if you're not into like researchy sort of stuff, is that everyone sort of has an intuitive built-in dictionary of imagery that we have that we might not know that we have. If you see an apple, you might think of health, or you might think of teachers because the teacher will give you the apple. If you see a white bird, it might remind you of peace. Maybe it reminds you, maybe it's a symbol of somebody's passing to you when you look at it, right? Like we all have things that we look at that are symbols for us. And that's another place that you can use, use your intuition. Hey, what does this mean to me? What does this color feel like? I'm focusing on this color. I'm seeing books. What is that? That's knowledge. That's learning. So there's some really basic ones too, where you don't have to overthink or let your head spin in order to get some information off of these cards, right? But there are images in there that do have deeper meaning. So that's why it's good to use both of them and work together. So hopefully that was helpful, and it gives you some more information and some more places to look, and maybe some fun new areas of study for you that you can relate to the tarot as you're learning. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and have an absolutely beautiful day.